elections, promised that they will make a BC CM face in Telangana. But now when it comes to giving local body reservations, they're not helping the people, Telangana OBCs. So whatever they say or whatever they promise and whatever they deliver, people now understand that there is a lot of difference. So BJP does not look like he's on the rise, but unfortunately Congress is falling so fast that they're bound to, BJP is bound to get some benefit out of it. So I don't see these two parties being a competition to BRS. BRS will certainly come back to power.
Well, thank you, Kavitha of the BRS. That was Kavitha of the BRS joining us, Veera, and she's made it very clear that KCR is her leader and that's the only leader that she will accept, but also very categorically saying that there is no rift that she has with her brother, K.T. Ramarao.
That's right, no differences, but not ruling out her ambitions in politics as well, says time will tell, but time will tell how the story plays out for the BRS there in Telangana. Vasudha, it's not an easy road ahead for the party, which is the principal opposition party in that state after 10 years in power. But from Telangana politics now to Karnataka, both DK Shivkumar and Chief Minister Siddaramaiah back in Bengaluru after their politically charged visit to New Delhi. The message from the Congress High Command is categorical. No power changes for the moment, as we've been reporting, and Bihar is Rahul Gandhi's focus right now. He didn't want to get involved in the Karnataka exchange, Vasudha. You met Siddaramaiah earlier in the day and he seems to have the backing of the party high command.
That's right, Veera. Siddaramaiah said as much on record that without the high command support, he wouldn't be the chief minister. In fact, he said the MLAs want me, the high command wants me, otherwise I wouldn't be continuing as the chief minister. Rahul Gandhi, of course, like you mentioned, did not meet either the chief minister or the deputy chief minister, but the message is clear from the Congress high command that there is no leadership change in consideration for now and that the party's focus is on Bihar.
That's right, Vasudha. This may not be the last act though, but it seems settled for now. There will be jostling over appointments to boards and corporations and of course an eventual cabinet reshuffle. But let's listen in to that interview you did with Siddaramaiah.
How was your meeting yesterday, sir?
It was nice. It was not completed. It was incomplete. He's coming on 16th to Bangalore. We will finalize the chairmen's, boards, corporations on that day. There are about 40 boards and corporations.
Sir, any indication from the leadership on the Congress High Command?
No, it is not before the High Command. That issue is not before the High Command. It was not discussed so far. You people only speculating.
What about funds from Delhi? You are meeting a lot of central ministers. Will they help Karnataka?
See, I have met Rajnath Singh only to invite him to Dasara and also to arrange air show in Dasara.
Right. And state
He
is...
has agreed to come and he will arrange air show.
Sir, you are going to be the longest serving chief minister. What is the secret of Siddaramaiah? You are going to be the longest...
No secret.
People are saying that you are crossing Devrajur's...
MLA selected me, High Command asked me to become the chief minister. So I am continuing.
Yes, sir. And you're getting full support to run the government?
Without full supporting by the High Command, how can I continue as a chief minister?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Siddaramaiah quite categorical there to you, Vasudha. But from Karnataka politics now to the case of Indian nurse Nimisha Priya, who's on death row in Yemen. This time is seriously running out with her execution date set for the 16th of July. Can there be a last-minute intervention in the case to save her? There are multiple dimensions to this case, and it is a test case in many ways with Vasudha for India.
Honestly, Veera, there is a humanitarian angle to this and diplomatic realities as well. Very tricky for India to navigate because northern Yemen is in the control of Houthis that we don't have diplomatic relations with. Remember, Nimisha was convicted in Yemen for the murder of a Yemeni citizen that she accused of torture and abuse. So is there hope for Nimisha is the big question here. Joining us this evening is Babu John, a social activist associated with Save Nimisha Priya International Action Council. It's a support group formed in 2020 to save Nimisha Priya's life. Thank you, Mr. John, for speaking to NDTV. My first question, the date of execution is closing in. What kind of efforts have you mobilized in terms of outreach or funds, and do you think all of this can work?
That's correct. The latest information 2 days back is that the execution date is cleared as July 16th, that is on the coming Wednesday. And we are now in Saturday evening. The status, the present status is that, the power of attorney holder for the Nimisha's family, Mr. Samuel Jerome, who is already in Sana'a, Yemen, who is leading the negotiation from our side, had offered $1 million as blood money to the family during the last, negotiations. It took, many months to negotiate, and we have proposed $1 million, to save Nimisha Priya. But at present, the family didn't reply. Family didn't say yes or no. We are awaiting to hear a yes. Then we will mobilize the fund, and we will be able to give the fund if the family is ready to pardon Nimisha. That is the important thing. Apart from the money, within the Sharia law, which is prevailing in Yemen, we are requesting the family to pardon Nimisha for whatever she did or whatever she is accused of. If the family is ready to pardon with or without money, anyway, we are ready to pay $1 million. That is the offer. Your second question is that, what are those people or the organization helping us? Our organization, the Save Nimisha Priya International Action Council, had formed 5 years back in September 3, 2020, after hearing the descendants of Nimisha Priya in August 19, 2020. So we were working together from all over the world, Indians, all over the world, and we were mobilizing all the help from the political parties and the government authorities in India and even in Yemen to make it clear that, okay, pardon Nimisha. And, with the help of India government, India government have appointed a Yemeni lawyer to, in Yemeni courts to represent Nimisha in Yemeni courts. And he had given the appeals to the courts in Yemen up to Supreme Court of Yemen, but all petitions were denied, and last the death sentence was, issued by the court.
Okay.
And now the state of only the hope that family pardon Nimisha.
Sir, as you explain all that, are there any realistic chances or hope that Nimisha can be saved at this stage, considering the time's really running out?
Yes, that is the important question now in front of us also. But being India is a big power in this region, plus our Prime Minister Modi has a good name and a big reputation. If India government asks the Houthi rebel government in Yemen, it will be done. There is a big hope of saving Nimisha Priya. Plus, the family, anyway, the person, Yemeni person had died, and we would like to help those family who was affected by death of that gentleman. And, we can say that only now. And we are crossing our fingers. Even now, the Yemeni law is that even now, even before 1 hour before the execution, if the family pardon, she can be saved.
Right. Mr. John, also, what are the major limitations that this case has spotlighted? What has the Nimisha case shown us in terms of India preparing better to save its workers who are working in Gulf nations?
Yeah, exactly. That is what we are trying for. There are lakhs and lakhs of people, Indian people working abroad. If in like this case, especially with the war situation, Nimisha was trapped in Yemen because of the war. So and all the incidents happened unfortunately, and she wanted to get his passport to come back to India. That is how it all happened. This unfortunate event happened to her, and we we are sympathizing with her situations, and this will be a lesson for all Indians and Indian government and Indian diaspora, that how we as co-citizens can help anybody is trapped in other countries abroad.
Keeping all the big questions aside, this is a serious humanitarian case. It's a hugely human interest issue. Tell us a little bit about Nimisha's family, especially her mother, who has been in Yemen for the past 1 year, trying to mobilize support funds. How is she and the family coping?
Almost every day, we are having, communications with the direct communication with Nimisha, with the help of the jail authorities, even because she is doing good in Yemen. She is serving as a doctor inside the jail. So they also help to, get the mobile phones. And even today morning, this morning, we had a conversation through WhatsApp, we all are expecting, and even the jail authorities in Yemen also expecting for saving Nimisha. Everybody is helping it out, but the situation in Yemen is that, because of the war and there is no legitimate government for a diplomatic relations. That is all, becoming a hurdle for our movement. But tomorrow or after tomorrow, there is a meeting happening, then we will come to know what is going to happen. At the same time, the Action Council had filed a petition to the Supreme Court of India, requesting the India government to act very fast.
Right, Mr. John, you said that council members are, some of them at least, are communicating with Nimisha. How has that been? Anything from Nimisha Priya that you can share with our viewers?
Nimisha is asking India government to intervene quickly, and she is hopeful that if India government intervene with its sole power, she will be saved. So she is requesting and praying, and she is confessing for all the mistakes that she has done.
Thank you, Mr. Babu John, for joining us with those insights, and we really hope that this works. Last-ditch efforts, Veera, are on to save Nimisha Priya's life, and she can only avoid death penalty if Mehdi's family, the person's family that the person that she's accused of murdering, if his family pardons her. The family of Nimisha Priya is waiting for a pardon, for a miracle, and for a final verdict that she obviously cannot escape. Our best wishes to this council that is working on her rescue.
That's right. It's a test case for India. In many ways, hope is fading out. But as Mr. Babu John just said, even till the last hour, something can be done. We'll take a very short break now on the show. When we are back, the Instagram crime in Bengaluru has exposed the horrific trait in society of videographing people without their consent and uploading it on social media. That's a crucial issue that we'll focus on.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's leading AI smartphone brand.
आप सभी का स्वागत करती हूँ एनडीटीवी क्रिएटर्स मंच पर।
बात करो तो लफ्जों से भी खुशबू आती है, लगता है इस लड़की को भी उर्दू आती है।
एक्चुअली जब मैं शुरू में मेरी बुक्स आई तो मेरे को क्रिटिक्स वगैरह ने ज़्यादा पसंद नहीं किया, तो मैंने कहा अब क्या करेंगे, तो एक ही तरीका है कि जनता पसंद कर ले।
भुला दे, अब तो भुला दे कि भूल किसकी थी। अशोक चक्रधर सारा जहान तेरा है।
मेरे जन्मों के सारे पाप मिट जाएंगे, राम आएंगे।
फिनेस्टा विंडोज, ब्यूटीफुल एंड ड्यूरेबल डिजाइन्स, इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
फाइन फाइनर फिनेस्टा।
Vanakkam Tamil Nadu.
Well, the battle for Tamil Nadu 2026 is open now.
After Chief Minister Stalin rolls up his sleeves.
And Vijay steps in as a star challenger.
This is a mass gathering, not for cash.
Meanwhile, a former Chief Minister, Edappadi Palanisamy, begins his fight back.
The big comeback campaign by EPS has well and truly begun.
These are all the ultimate players, and this is going to be the ultimate test.
That's huge. That is a biggie. It's out there.
Gold Plus Clear Glass. Far ho ya near, sab kuch dikhe clear.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of maximum city is infectious. I'm bringing that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti, also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
India's IT capital is always bustling, a city full of startups, stories and surprises. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
But I'd like to start this off by asking you, Vishnu, what you think about the whole question of India not having stealth fighters right now.
It's a huge
Everyone's
problem.
trying to sell them to us as well.
It's a huge problem, Shiv. Let's face it, in as much as we love the Rafale aircraft and the Indian Air Force is completely vouching for it, perhaps they'd like more than 100 more. The Indian Navy has just gotten into an order for 26 Rafale M aircraft. There is a generation gap between the Rafale and the stealth. There is a good reason why a stealth platform is called a 5th generation aircraft and a Rafale is a 4th or 4.5 generation aircraft, and that is low observability. So in as much as the Rafale has brilliant sensors, both in terms of its radar, its defensive suite, its electronic warfare suite, its towed array decoy system, it is not typically a low observability platform in quite the same manner in which a stealth aircraft is. Its design form is different. And therefore, if Pakistan does have low observable aircraft, which would be the J-35, in fact, the first ones might even start entering service or coming into the PAF ahead of entering service at some time this year, that India is in trouble.
So
Why?
this year? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first could actually start coming in this year. They're really pushing for it. And they've gotten apparently into some agreement with the Chinese to ensure that the funding is done on very loose and terms favorable to Pakistan, as has been in the case in the past. If Pakistan starts acquiring low platforms which are low observable, in other words, stealth platforms, then that's an additional headache for the Indian Air Force, because tracking stealth aircraft requires a certain specialization. It's much more difficult. The time that you have to actually engage a potential stealth target is
Welcome back. A bit of breaking news coming in from Andhra Pradesh. Strong backing for Hindi, Vasudha, from the Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan.
Absolutely, Vida. In the midst of Hindi imposition across the country, at least allegations of Hindi imposition across the country, Andhra Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan has backed Hindi. He has said Hindi is the elder mother if Telugu is mother language. He has called Hindi language the elder mother of people of Andhra, and he has said that if Telugu is the mother, then Hindi is the elder mother of the people.
మన మాతృభాష మీద మన గౌరవం ఉంటుంది. మన మాతృభాష అమ్మ అయితే మన అమ్మ భాష అయితే దాని మన పెద్దమ్మ భాష హిందీ. మన మాతృభాష మీద మన గౌరవం ఉంటుంది. మన మాతృభాష అమ్మ అయితే మన అమ్మ భాష అయితే దాని మన పెద్దమ్మ భాష హిందీ.
Well, Well, we are now to the big political face-off in Tamil Nadu over the use of funds from the Hindu religious and charitable endowments for building of colleges. DMK Chief and Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, M.K. Stalin, called Leader of Opposition Edappadi Palanisamy as a mouthpiece of the BJP after Edappadi Palanisamy launched a sharp attack on the DMK for use of funds that are meant for administering temples to build colleges.
Apart from that, Vasudha, EPS, who's on a statewide yatra, has accused the DMK and Stalin of lying on all issues, even saying Stalin must be given the Nobel Prize for lying. On the temple funds issue, EPS clarified his position after a sharp attack from the DMK, but he took on the Chief Minister over the delimitation issue and stated that Home Minister Amit Shah has categorically assured that Tamil Nadu will not lose out in the process.
Well, the face-off in Tamil Nadu clearly is intensifying. Joining us this evening, Kovai Satyan of the AIDMK and Harish Mohammad Ibrahim, who is a supporter of the DMK. Thank you both of you for joining me on this broadcast. Kovai Satyan, to you first. Clearly, this is one issue that has given ammunition to the DMK to call the AIDMK stooge of the BJP, as the party has been claiming. Do you think that it could have been handled better?
Because DMK doesn't have any other achievements to boast to meet the people. All they are indulging now is personal slandering of our leader and trying to paint a picture that AIDMK is the voice of BJP. But what our leader asked was one simple question which any common man can understand. Tamil Nadu is the #1 borrower. It has borrowed so far 4 lakh crores. And yes, with the increase of EB taxes, it has garnered another 1 lakh crore as revenues. Despite this, there is a higher education budget. So what has happened to these money that a government is forced to take away a money from a temple and construct a college was the primary question. It clearly exposes the incompetence and financial mismanagement of this DMK government. Rather than giving the answer, they evade the answer and they try to paint a picture that this is the ideological voice of BJP. Ideological voice of BJP is government should exit the HRNC and the temples. Our leader didn't say that. All our leader questioned was the financial planning and financial execution.
Right, Harish Mohammad Ibrahim, please respond. The accusation is very clear and it's been consistent. DMK doesn't have answers to tough questions, always diverts attention to political and ideological issues, and there is an impression being created that the party is anti-Hindu. Please go ahead and respond.
Yeah, first of all, they shouldn't be calling anymore it is an Anna Dravida Munnetra Kalagam. They should be calling as a BJP, which is a factual part of ADMK as of now. They have been completely decimated. BJP has been taken over the entire ADMK factions, #1. And #2, whether Mr. Edappadi Palanisamy were in coma when he was ruling for years of his term, no. Because he himself made sure to give an extension of a Palaniyandavar temple's building for the college, right? So were he in coma at that point of time? No. And #3, the same kind of using the HRNC funds to construct the colleges was not happening at this era of DMK government alone. It was started from the way back in Bhaktavachalam's period. The same has been constructed by Mr. MGR, Madam Jayalalitha, and by Dr. Kalangya, and now it has been followed, the same legacy has been followed, and each and every institution, every HRNC of the particular temple will go to the particular college in the particular district. So it is not going anywhere.
Okay.
The single Palaniyandavar, for example, if the
Kovai Satyan,
temple,
the problem is what has been followed from MGR's times is being questioned by the AIDMK because you're a BJP ally, and the other accusation DMK is making is that EPS was having 5-star for the last 4 years and suddenly woken up. Respond.
That shows the ignorance of DMK and their supporters. HRNC rules and guidelines are very clear. If you want to take away temple funds, you can only take away the surplus funds available. So the college that was built during 1965, where Mr. Bhaktavachalam was the chief minister and MGR Palaniyandavar, the temple surplus funds were used. And here what's the difference is, DMK Netas claim that any money that you put into as an offering in the temple belongs to the public. And they are not still able to define was it a surplus funds and where are the accounts. But still now, a government which borrows 4 lakh crores,
Kovai Satyan, we are completely out of time. Harish
crore
Mohammad,
a year, He is
Yeah.
now taking money from the temple offerings.
Harish
That's
Mohammed,
the irony.
respond to that.
Let them, if Mr. Edapadi has some point of confusion in whether the funds is being used or diluted for some other cause, let him go to the, he has all the legal means, but he can't go ahead and speak like a BJP person holding Anna Dravida Munnetra Kalagam, Anna, who is the forefather for fighting for the educational
Okay,
rights
completely
of
out of
Tamil
time,
Nadu.
guys. Thank
He
you so
can't
much
go
for
ahead
being part of
and
this.
speak
This is a battle that seems to be intensifying. Religion, identity, something that is going to play a pivotal role in the battle in the run-up to 2026 Tamil Nadu Assembly elections.
That's right. There's a third factor as well. But now to our special focus this evening in cases of men secret women and uploading it on social media, whether it's in public transport systems like the metro or in office washrooms. This has become a serious concern, Vasudha. In Bengaluru, a 26-year-old man was arrested yesterday by the police after he uploaded an inappropriate video of a woman on social media without her consent.
That's right, Vida. Remember a few days ago, an employee was accused of filming women colleagues in the company's washrooms, and a few weeks ago you also had the shocking case of a social media handle dedicated to videos of women commuting in Bengaluru metro taken without the knowledge of women or their consent. Now this accused now suspended accounts have showcased heavily edited clips that zoomed in or used slow motion to objectify women for online attention.
That's right. The case erupted when a college student discovered herself featured in one of those videos. A social media post tagging Bengaluru police and cybercrime authorities sparked widespread outrage and led to action by the police. Investigation has revealed that the accused had built a disturbing pattern of behavior, deliberately turning public spaces into hunting grounds for harassment.
Absolutely. This clearly, Veera, is not a singular act of violation. We need to talk about the larger question of women's safety in public spaces. There's also the question of accountability of social media's voyeurism. How do these platforms really amplify content like this? That's what we discuss now. Joining us is Alankrita Sahai, who's an actor and former Miss India. We have Rashmi Samant, who's an author and entrepreneur. We have Prasad Bidappa, who's a Bengaluru citizen, fashion curator. And we have Sandeep Aniruddin, who is a convener for Citizens Agenda for Bengaluru. Alankrita, to you first. As a woman, when you think about digital voyeurism, what is it that comes to your mind? Okay, let me go to Rashmi Samant first. How do you look at cases like this that are coming up, Rashmi, because I remember there was a similar case even in Delhi Metro, Nagpur Metro, and of course Bengaluru has also spotlighted at least 2 such cases. As a woman, what do you feel is changing about the society and what can be done to sort of improve this kind of attitude?
Well, I think this kind of behavior signals to a deeper sort of rot that's taken charge of our society. This disturbing pattern of objectification of women is being increasingly normalized, be it through OTT or different platforms. So now what we are seeing on social media is that normalization taking effort in terms of everyday life. That is something that we are seeing today. And secondly, I think the girl, who raised her voice, due to which this man finally got arrested, she raised an important point about accountability of social media platforms. Numerous people, including me, we heard her plea and we tried to report the video, but it wasn't taken down. The complaint was just registered by Instagram. And if these are the kind of rules and regulations which have become standards of our society, then it's deeply problematic as to who is responsible for safeguarding and creating a safe space for women online. So the deeper question of accountability also needs to be addressed.
Oh, absolutely. The question of accountability and how do we build systems which takes these things down on time. Prasad Bidappa, one of the key concerns is that sometimes before action is taken, the damage is usually done, whether it could be school children, and then the other big concern is that there could be hundreds and thousands of other cases which we don't even know about that are playing out.
I completely agree that this blurring of lines on social media, which is full of so much of content, all kinds of content, it's influencing people to think that they can get away with anything, that they're going to build their followers at the cost of some hapless lady who doesn't even, mean to be on a platform like this. So I feel that expecting a safe space on social media is an impossible task. It is something that I think has gone out of control already. And like Rashmi said, the complaint tried to get Instagram to take it down, and they wouldn't listen. They wouldn't take it down. There should be someone monitoring this at least to ensure that jobless boys like this who have nothing better to do with their lives, wandering around the city, shooting women in kind of positions. I've seen it happen on the metro also. A girl is sitting down, a man is standing on top and trying to film her, because he's looking down her cleavage.
There was
or
in fact an
something like
entire
that.
social media page dedicated to asking people to come and contribute to videos of this nature. That's how serious the issue has become, Vasudha.
Exactly.
But
It's
let me
extremely
ask
unmonitored.
Right. Mr. Vidya, let me ask this question to Sandeep Anirudhan. One thing that is really good about Bengaluru is people saw this was happening, this was wrong. They raised voices against it, and the accused has been caught. I see it happening in Delhi. I see this happening in several other places. Like Rashmi also said, have we normalized this behavior? There are witnesses, there are people traveling on metro, on buses. They see people videographing, taking pictures, and nobody says anything because the concept of consent is often really unknown to a lot of us.
Vasudha, in India, at least in the present day Indian context, people don't seem to understand the concept of boundaries. And a large part of it has to do with, I think, our mass media, the way it, see, a lot of education in India happens through movies. And you look at popular movies like Hindi movies and stuff like that. Have you stopped to wonder how women are objectified and sexualized in these movies? Item numbers are the prime attraction in a movie. What does it say about our society? An item number is nothing but gross sexualization and objectification of a woman in very revealing clothes. And this is what children grow up watching. And these are not A-grade movies. These are general viewing certificate movies. Just imagine it gets normalized in families. Boys grow up viewing girls as objects.
You're making an important point, Sandeep. I'm sorry to interrupt. You're making a very important point, and Rashmi made the point earlier as well, that this is part of a larger social sanct for it. Rashmi, I just want to quickly ask, even as we debate this issue, is there a sense still that it's okay, what's the big deal in large parts? The fact that there is an invasion into privacy of being videographed without your knowledge.
Yeah.
It could be a man or a woman, and it's the same thing, right? Is there a sense that it's still okay? I can just take my camera out, whether it's the theatre or anywhere else, and I can speak. Whether it's your metro or whatever else, I can just be okay with doing it. What's the big deal? That needs to change.
Absolutely, it needs to change. And until somebody becomes the victim themselves, men and women, they don't know, they don't understand how deep the issue is and what kind of psychological issues one goes through when one becomes a victim of this. I've been a student union leader through and through, and I'm talking about an incident from 5 years ago. There was an entire Reddit thread about women in my college that I had to actively get involved with the police in taking down. But this kind of behavior, it has seeped deep down, and it's happening among all age groups, and it's extremely concerning that it is normalized, and until somebody becomes a victim, we don't speak up about it. What is to stop even the women on the streets from taking away cameras from these men and protesting it when they see it happening with others? What's to stop the men from stopping other men from doing these and calling up the cops right then and there? That's because we think it's okay until we become victims. So I think there needs to be larger awareness and larger policing when it comes to such behavior in public.
Right, Mr. Bidappa, also when you talk about social media, the accountability of it, an account like Metro Chicks had about 5,000 followers. There are people, all of us know that this is just really wrongful content. It's not moral, it's not ethical. But then, there are followers, there are, people who accept that this is completely normal. How can technology also encourage behavior like this, and what needs to be done to stop that from happening?
Well, I think Instagram should really have stronger checks and guards about this whole thing. But I must say I'm happy that the police responded so quickly. Maybe that lady should have complained to the police first instead of Instagram. At least the police sprang into action and did something and have finally managed to arrest him. She should not have waited. And I think that people do interfere. I've seen many people object to bad behavior on the streets, especially in a city like Bangalore, which is very cosmopolitan and everybody is very educated. You don't see this kind of behavior around, in the metros and all that as much as you would see it in private life, maybe. So I think that what Rashmi said also resonates. Policing has to be stronger. And I'd advise every woman listening to this program to complain to the police first before you complain to Instagram. Looks like Instagram is not going to do very much.
I think you're making a very important point. And I think, Sandeep, there was also another thing. When we were back in college, there was always this thing of, there's this thing in India, this one of drinking and driving, it's okay. Yeah. But I remember somebody saying that there was consciously an effort in countries like the UK amongst youth to turn around and say, look, this is not okay. Don't do it. And it's not cool to do it. And others. So there has to be more than enforcement. There has to be a social movement to turn around and say it's not okay. And that needs to start from young kids onwards, in school onwards, that look, these are the do's and don'ts of it.
Absolutely, Raghav. I think peer pressure, societal norms, and values play a huge role, which is why I was coming to this whole thing. See, this whole Hindi movie industry and all other movie industries in India, slipping voyeurism and objectification of women right into our drawing rooms and getting away with it is one of the big causes for influencing the social outlook of a society. And also, if you look at our movies, they tend to, especially of women, they tend to normalize invasion of a woman's privacy by men. Men can do what they want. They can tease women, they can slap women, they can do all of these, and this is normal. I mean, it's not considered out of the way in our movies. I think the Central Board of Film Certification needs to be brought up to date. They need to have a new
last word from Rashmi. Rashmi, what is your advice to young girls? Because this is about public transport, and public transport is one, medium that can really empower women because it talks about mobility. What is your advice to women who take public transport, especially when it comes to incidents like this?
Well, I think, the wrong thing to do is to limit women and to ask them to stay inside. That would be the last thing I would say. I think women need to be out there more, and they need to voice their concerns. There are good citizens like the people on this panel who will always jump to their support, who will galvanize the police. It was a lot of her followers who actually went to the police before she did. So we will support you. Go out there, make your voices heard, and break that glass ceiling. Do not limit yourself in any way because there are predators out there. There are good people too who will come to your rescue. But please do speak up when such things do happen. Even if you don't know how to resolve it, there are people out there who come to your rescue.
Absolutely, Rashmi.
And I hope the more people speak out, and perhaps even this conversation, Vasudha should send out a message categorically saying it's not okay. And I'm saying this again, I think this cannot be done through regulation or enforcement at the top. It needs to come from within as far as the society is concerned to ensure that this is absolutely unacceptable.
Absolutely, Veera. This case is not just about one man's wrongdoing. It clearly should be a wake-up call. And we have been in this digital world where there are these blurring lines between what is personal dignity and what is strong vigilance. We, of course, need stronger policy enforcement, but what we also need is some sense of change in societal attitudes towards consent and also digital ethics.
Well, that's all we have time for on the Southern View this evening. Vasudha and I will be back with all the news on Monday. But thanks a lot for watching. All the top news continue to play out here on NDTV.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's leading AI smartphone brand.
बदलाव की इच्छा रखने वाले लोग, उनको ये तय करना है कि वो जनसुराज जैसे नए विकल्प को चुनते हैं कि फिर पिटे पिटाए अपनी पूरी पुरानी व्यवस्था में जाना चाहते हैं।
मैं चिराग पासवान पूरी तरीके से बिहार विधानसभा का चुनाव लड़ने के लिए तैयार हूँ और तत्पर।
तेजस्वी जी मुख्यमंत्री बने हैं, हमारी पूरी सपोर्ट है उनको। हम किंग मेकर की भूमिका में रहना चाहते हैं।
ये लोग घर से बाहर नहीं निकल पाते थे।
प्रधानमंत्री जी को बताना चाहिए कि इनका जो बिहार में जो सरकार है 50% जो नीतीश जी की मंत्रिमंडल में जो लोग बैठे वो परिवारवादी लोग हैं। वो अपने आप को भी परिवारवादी बोले।
जंगल राज लाने वाले मौका देख रहे हैं, अपने पुराने कारनामे करने का मौका ढूंढ रहे हैं।
तू ही तो है जिसकी सच्चाई वाली क्लैरिटी की वजह से मैं आज यहाँ हूँ।
गोल्ड प्लस सिल्वॉक्सी मिरर्स, ऐसी क्लैरिटी कि आपको सिर्फ सच नजर आए, चाहे कितने भी साल बीत जाएं।
कोई जरूरत तो उसको इंटरव्यू देने की।
गायकवाड़ साहब ऐसे मत कीजिए।
लोग देख रहे तो कर रहा है, लोग देख रहे तो कर रहा है।
किसने हक दिया आपको हाथ उठाने का?
अगर फिर से कोई ऐसी गलती करेगा तो मैं छोड़ूंगा नहीं।
सर आप लाइव हैं एनडीटीवी पर।
मैं सही बात कर रहा हूँ तो
आपकी जो आवाज है,
आप मेरी आवाज ब्रेक मत कीजिए, मेरा पूरा सुन
देखा है, सबने सुना है।
मैं तुम्हारी बात नहीं करूंगा। ये क्या पद्धति है? ये बात करते हैं तो मैं नहीं करूंगा बात इनसे।
गायकवाड़ साहब ऐसे मत कीजिए।
लोग देख रहे तो कर रहा है, लोग देख रहे तो कर रहा है।
He wants to throw punches, he wants to throw slaps, but he can't take normal questions.
फिनिस्टा विंडोज, ब्यूटीफुल एंड ड्यूरेबल डिजाइन्स, इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनिस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
फाइनल फिनिस्टा।
But I'd like to start this off by asking you, Vishnu, what you think about the whole question of India not having stealth fighters right now.
It's a huge
Everyone's
problem.
trying to sell them to us as well.
It's a huge problem, Shiv. Let's face it, in as much as we love the Rafale aircraft and the Indian Air Force is completely vouching for it, perhaps they'd like more than 100 more. The Indian Navy has just gotten into an order for 26 Rafale M aircraft. There is a generation gap between the Rafale and the stealth. There is a good reason why a stealth platform is called a 5th generation aircraft and a Rafale is a 4th or 4.5 generation aircraft, and that is low observability. So in as much as the Rafale has brilliant sensors, both in terms of its radar, its defensive suite, its electronic warfare suite, its towed array decoy system, it is not typically a low observability platform in quite the same manner in which a stealth aircraft is. Its design form is different. And therefore, if Pakistan does have low observable aircraft, which would be the J-35, in fact, the first ones might even start entering service or coming into the PAF ahead of entering service at some time this year, then India is in trouble.
So
Why?
this year? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first could actually start coming in this year. They're really pushing for it. And they've gotten apparently into some agreement with the Chinese to ensure that the funding is done on very loose and terms favorable to Pakistan, as has been in the case in the past. If Pakistan starts acquiring low platforms which are low observable, in other words, stealth platforms, then that's an additional headache for the Indian Air Force, because tracking stealth aircraft requires a certain specialization. It's much more difficult. The time that you have to actually engage a potential stealth target is reduced greatly. And therefore, it's a problem.
Good evening and a very warm welcome to India Matters on Friday night. This is a big country of ours. There are lots of inequities. We are practically a subcontinent. There are so many differences between all the states, but there really is one thing that unites and levels us all, and that is the monsoon. And on Delhi's suburbs, not very far from where I bring you this broadcast live, that reality has hit home in the most humiliating way possible. Gurugram, a suburb of India's national capital, your capital, my capital, came up on the outskirts with the promise of being a mini Singapore. Can you believe that? A mini Singapore. This Singapore. Every monsoon, Gurugram or Gurgaon as it was earlier called, sheds its glossy brochures and reveals its crumbling core, because this is the reality, a reality in which companies come to invest. It has been projected as a huge tech hub. It's a place where the elites of Delhi flaunt their big houses and apartments. And in 2025, these are the pictures in Gurugram, a place where it was once fashionable to say you lived in Gurugram. Would you ever boast about living here? From cyber to drain city, the transformation has been so swift, so violent, that you can't even see the city anymore because it's all underwater. The roads have vanished. They're either broken or completely submerged. If you've got an SUV, it's probably a good time to buy a pair of oars, and helplines drown. It calls. People are furious. Glass towers shimmering above while craters and cave-ins open in practically every. And believe me, there is nobody to blame but the governments successively and the system which has made bad planning an art form and doomed Gurugram to the absolute hellhole that it is today. With 133 millimeters of rain, this so-called Millennium City was so waterlogged and so offline that people were crying on the roads. The southern peripheral road literally collapsed under pressure. These are not pictures we've made up. This is not AI. This is real. And yet again, the authorities there are simply shrugging because they have no idea what to do. Things have gotten to such a bad extent that the first sign of rain means people are hesitant to even leave their house because they know they'll be stuck for hours. And this isn't climate change. Climate change is real. It is civic failure. Taxpayers' money has literally paid for this nonsense. Year after year, Gurugram's smart city dream continues to short circuit, one thunderstorm at a time. But before we get into the deeper end of this, and I'm going to introduce you to someone very angry tonight, take a look at the most shattering images from Millennium City.
The city that hosts Fortune 500 headquarters, global tech hubs, and India's future grinds to a halt in every monsoon. Yesterday was no different, only worse. Gurugram, the face of modern India, crumbled under its own ambition yet again. A relentless downpour turned the Millennium City into a massive water tank. The so-called cyber city couldn't even load basic civic sense. Over 400 distress calls flooded Gurugram's traffic helplines. Commuters stuck in rising water, stalled cars, drowned buses. Many simply abandoned their vehicles mid-road. Over 222 cars had to be towed. Subhash Chowk, Hero Honda Chowk, Rajiv Chowk, the same hotspots year after year were submerged. A massive cave-in on the southern peripheral road became the final blow. A truck plunged into a crater left behind by the Gurugram Metropolitan Development Authority. A pipe was installed, but the road was never fixed. Warnings were ignored. This time, the consequences weren't. 72 traffic cops, 32 cranes, 100 plus deployment points, all scrambled to manage a city sinking in its own sprawl. Trees were uprooted, metro access roads blocked, and the Medanta hospital nearly cut off. Tech parks, luxury towers, golf courses, but zero resilience. Every monsoon, Gurugram goes offline. The question is no longer why this keeps happening, it's why no one's held responsible. Because until someone is, the rain will keep coming and this city will keep drowning. Bureau Report, NDTV.
Suhail Seth needs no introduction, and he has been very angry for the last couple of days watching what's happened happening in Gurugram, and he's someone who divides his time between all of these places. He spends a lot of time in Gurugram as well, and he has on social media expressed a great deal of anger. He's directed it at the state chief minister and wonders why Gurugram has been allowed to sink to these awful depths. Suhail, welcome. Thanks for being with me tonight. I'm glad you're not in Gurugram today, but you are really angry. And, you know, I feel your pain because I was very close to Gurugram when this stuff was going on. But incredible to see how when you think things can't get any worse, they always do, Suhail.
We live in callous, shameless times. The politician today, Shiv, irrespective of which party he or she belongs to, they have become thick-skinned. I'm actually delighted that you've had the courage, as you always have, in bringing up this issue, because these scoundrels don't learn any lessons. And it is not just the politician. It is the Babu, it is the clerk, it is the administration, and it is also the citizen. The citizens are absolutely, they have total apathy towards any level of civic sanity, sanitation, civic cleanliness. So what are we seeing? You've said, oh, Gurugram, Millennium City. It is a city that even Harappa and Mohenjo-daro would be ashamed of. I mean, look at the drainage systems there and look at these jokers. And they plan to bring Disneyland. I mean, they can't even get Mickey Mouse right. And this is the chief minister who says, we'll bring Disneyland. So what are we seeing? A pathetic failure of governance. A bunch of jokers who are so thick-skinned. Can you imagine, Shiv, from yesterday, the chief minister has not issued one apology, no remorse. The Gurugram MCD, they have about 4 bodies. None of these jokers can take care of even one thing. Not one person has apologized. There's an old gentleman who was electrocuted and died. Yeah. No one gives a toss. I mean, luckily we are on NDTV, otherwise I would have used language which would have had to constantly beep. But the tragedy is, these people get away. And I'm amazed that Narendra Modi and Nitin Gadkari and Amit Shah allow these people to bring such absolute shame to India, because these are the headquarters of all the multinational companies. Can you imagine if you were in Coca-Cola and you were telling your bosses that, look, I'm sorry, I'm actually knee-deep in water. They'd be wondering if you were at a beach or in Venice or in godforsaken Gurugram.
Yeah.
There's no shame left. There is total apathy. And you know, Shiv, you're talking about rainwater. 6 months onwards ago, there has been garbage that is being lying scattered.
Yeah.
No one has done a thing. Do they give you forgiveness on taxes? No. Now what has started happening is people have begun to live in bubbles. So you live in a Magnolias, in a Camellias, in a Aralias. You live in a bubble, but is it really fair? Is it fair on the common man? You know better than I do, it takes you 2 hours to get from Delhi to Gurgaon and vice versa. Why? Because it's again pathetic.
Yeah.
You have goons standing at the border. So my point is, where the hell are we headed? Every year around this time, we host the same television programs. We share the same angst.
So true.
We express the same concern, and nothing happens. So either Naib Singh Saini doesn't give a monkey's toss about Gurugram, because they are getting their votes regardless.
Yeah.
And the votes are being now done on religious and caste reasons. So for Narendra Modi, who I genuinely am fond of, he believes that development is the succor. Development is the way forward. Naib Singh Saini and his people don't give a toss. They don't care. For anything else, Modi should be sacking Naib Singh Saini. Naib Singh Saini, on his part, should sack the Gurugram administration. But let me tell you, nothing will happen. It's a cozy club.
You know, you're a marketing guru, and you spend a lot of time advising many of these companies, I imagine, that have skin in the game in Gurugram, who have investments, who have these big shiny offices. Give us a sense of what they're saying. You know, we're reflecting what the people are saying. What are the big companies saying when they, see these pictures?
They're embarrassed. There is all-round embarrassment. And I'm so glad you talked about corporate involvement. Hero MotoCorp has sponsored and rejuvenated so many ponds in Gurugram, because that's where the water gets stored. I know about DLF. I don't know about the other developers because I live in a DLF gated community. DLF has done amazing work with rainwater harvesting and swales. That's why once you enter Magnolias or Rallias or Camellias, there's no flooding. But people think, oh, the elite lives there. I mean, for God's sake, if DLF can get it right, why can't the jokers, the engineers who have created waterfalls out of flyovers, why can't they get it right? And Shiv, we keep saying, oh, Indian engineering, world class, IITs, world class. Where is the goddamn world class? We are building flyovers that collapse. We are building flyovers that leak. We are building roads that cave in. I mean, what are we doing? And let me tell you, this is not about Gurugram. This is an India malaise. We are pathetic when it comes to civic infrastructure. Worse than any sub-Saharan country. Now, we don't want to say it because we want to brag that, oh, we're a great country, fourth largest economy in the world. Kenta, fourth largest economy. You cave in, no pun intended, every time there's rainfall. And by the way, which of these idiots in government don't know that there will be a monsoon? There's a monsoon every year. But what do? No planning. Everything is Ram Bharose. Everything is, oh, we'll wing it. And there is no accountability. You tell me, Shiv, and you know this, every time the courts of India are quick to act on suo moto issues. Oh, suo moto this, suo moto that. You know why the Haryana and Punjab High Court will not act on this? Because their judges live in Mohali and in Chandigarh in fancy homes. Their homes don't get flooded. So until it pinches them, nothing will happen. Even the courts will not take suo moto action. And that's my worry. So there is zero responsibility.
I completely agree with you when you say the buck stops with the Chief Minister because after all, a BJP government has been in the saddle for a decade now. They've gotten their third term, but nothing seems to happen with Gurugram. I mean, it's a big state, but Gurugram is literally on the doorstep of the national capital. There is that angle as well. It was always sold as this millennium city, but getting away from that, looking ahead, is there a way to dig the city out of this? Or is it a case of, people making the excuse that bad planning and corruption has been happening for so long, the city is just stuck now?
Tell me, and I don't take any political sides, I hate all political parties. A big shusha was made about Robert Vadra and land conversion and, conversion from commercial to residential and vice versa. Let me tell you, Shiv, if the Central Bureau of Investigation were to investigate developers in Gurugram, the nexus between the politician, the bureaucracy, and the developer would be exposed. But again, no one will do it. Where the hell will they get the election funding from? So who suffers? There's an old George Bernard Shaw saying, when whales fight, shrimps are eaten. We are the shrimps. You're still safe because you live in Delhi. We are the Gurugram shrimps who get eaten every time there's rainfall, every time there's sordid summer. The reason why I told you about the rejuvenation of ponds is because Gurugram goes dry. Let me tell you a fact. There are more liquor vends in Gurugram than functioning traffic lights. There are more bars in Gurugram than schools. That tells you of a government's priorities. That tells you where the government is headed. You can open a liquor vend anywhere you want. All you have to do is pay some joker.
Correct.
So the point I'm making is, you and I are discussing this because we have genuine concern for brand Gurugram, which in turn is reflective of brand India. Don't these people care? Are they not responsible? Doesn't Narendra Modi care? You keep talking about smart cities, urban oases. These are urban dumps. We are living in the swankiest slum of the 21st century. Look at what's happening as you're showing it on your screen. Is this what we call a developing economy? It is a shame on us. So let's stop talking about, oh, we are a great country, great thing. We are nothing. A country is known by its weakest link. And our weakest link is civic infrastructure, apathy, and zero accountability. Tell me, a guy got electrocuted. He died. No apology. If I were the government, if I were the courts, I would have arrested the municipal commissioner of Gurugram. I would have arrested the district commissioner of Gurugram to show people that I care and that there will be deterrent punishment. Nothing will happen. To quote the Bible, this too shall pass. and we'll again be stuck in this morass.
Suhail, I thank you for being with me, and I feel your anger, and I also feel the sense of helplessness that you're exuding as you say this, because it really does feel like, just another time that the rain has come, the situation is upon us, and once again, we're just venting with each other. It really does feel like that. I wonder what that inflection point will be. I wish I had that answer. I don't. But your anger stood out to me because it did feel like it was heartfelt. You were calling out the people who should be taking that action. And in these times when most people won't do that, that seemed like something that was noble, and you did voice what many people are feeling. I hope you don't have to go to Gurugram anytime soon, because it's still very waterlogged. But see you the next time you're here. Suhail, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Shiv, as always. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so that was the big story from Gurugram. Now let's go to story number 2. A day before the Air India AI 171 probe report is released, and NDTV can confirm to you that the probe report is going to be released very likely tomorrow, according to our sources. A last-ditch effort is being mounted by sections of the Western press, which has been doing so for the last month, to put the entire blame for the accident on the crew of the Boeing 787 aircraft. Is this pilot bashing? Is this some kind of a preemptive cover-up? The Wall Street Journal is the latest to join the bandwagon and seems to be playing its own games. Are these motivated leaks, or are these pieces of factual journalism that is taking place? Remember that there are very, very big stakes in the preliminary probe report that is all set to very likely be made public tomorrow. But are Western press elements participating in a mission cover-up to blame pilots who are dead and cannot protect themselves or defend themselves in order to protect the bigger stakeholders in an air crash of this kind? I don't even need to take their names. You know who they are, because there are mega stakes in the Air India crash report. The guilt seems to be writ large already. Is this facts, or is it a preemptive strike, is the big question. Okay, let me just give you examples of what's happening right now. Air India, the flight 171 crash has killed over 250 people. The tragedy struck a month ago on the 12th of June. The Dreamliner plunges moments after takeoff. Premature verdict. Wall Street Journal clears the maker of the aircraft before the Air Accident Investigation Board probe cites anonymous US officials, no evidence shared. Nobody in India has been able to report any probe details. What is the Wall Street Journal talking about from the United States side? Then you've got that convenient targeting. Deceased Indian pilots blamed. Wall Street Journal claims fuel switches were turned off, but offers no clarity on cause or intent. Could this be speculation or spin? The preliminary report is not even out yet. Are there motivated leaks going on? Still, there is a verdict in the press. India's crash investigation board has not published its findings. I want to say that categorically. It may happen only tomorrow. Is this narrative engineering on behalf of those who stand to lose billions in case this is a mechanical failure of the aircraft? Wall Street Journal, the Air Current, global media pushing that same line. There seems to be a pattern. No fault with the aircraft maker or the engine maker, relying solely on unnamed sources for leaks. Is there a pattern of protection? The aircraft maker's history of having been punished for various other lapses, even in the recent past. Is the media being used as a shield? Is the US media running PR for companies or for even the US government to deflect possible blame before the report actually comes out? Has it already planted the seeds of doubt in the public's mind? Because we know for a fact that lobbying is definitely happening. And what this means is accountability is being denied even before accountability can be fixed. This is deflection preemptively taken. Is it propaganda before proof? Is there a coordinated campaign ahead of that report that you will read first here on NDTV? Is the real question that we're asking tonight. Vishnu Shom, who's been tracking and breaking every aspect of the Air India 171 crash and the expected probe, is with me, and he has details on what is going on and what to expect. Vishnu.
Well, Shiv, I can tell you that there is a good chance that this report is going to finally be out tomorrow. But I should equally point out that the process of communications has been fairly appalling. I think there's no two ways about it. In this particular case, a situation which is being looked very closely across the world, when there are leaks which are appearing in the Western media, where finger pointing is taking place by one impacted party or potentially one impacted party to another potentially impacted party, what one needs is clarity. So our sources, as of 8:15 p.m. this Friday evening, don't know the date, don't know the time, and they don't have 100% confirmation on the date either, but they are saying that chances are that it's going to be out tomorrow. I would suggest that would possibly be sometime tomorrow afternoon. Is it going to be published in the website of the Accident Investigation Board? Will there be a press conference? No answers even on that, but the Civil Aviation Minister has said that there is procedure that is going on. There will be transparency. If there is, where exactly is it? I think it is important to point out that if one is talking about transparency, that is absolutely linked to the process in which you communicate. This is important for airlines around the world operating the Dreamliner. There is clarity which needs to be offered to the families as well who've lost so much. What about Air India as a company, the Tatas? What about Boeing and General Electric as a company? But let's give you an idea of how the American NTSB, that's their National Transport Safety Board, communicates during crashes and how exactly we are doing that. First up, top of the screen, Air India 171. The crash took place on the 12th of June. 260 people, including people on the ground, lost their lives. Where is the preliminary report? For a week, we believed that that report would be out today. As of 8:10 p.m., there is no confirmation of it coming out tomorrow. We are saying it is likely to come out at some stage tomorrow. The number of press conferences held by the AAIB, which is investigating, that's an Indian agency, 0. The number of press releases, only 1. Now compare that with what America's has been doing. Let's take a look at a couple of data points. American Airlines Flight 191, 1979, the report was out in 14 days. There were 2 press conferences, 3 press releases. American Airlines Flight 587, November 2001, 265 people dead. The preliminary report in 17 days, 3 press conferences and 4 press releases. Pan Am Flight 759, 1982, 153 dead. 30 days the report was out, 1 press conference and 2 press releases. A Northwest Flight 1987, again, 3 press releases, 2 press conferences. Let's go to the next page if we can. And that actually gives you, and I'm not going to go through each one of them, but just look at the latest one. American Eagle Flight 5342. This was the crash which took place in the Washington area in January 29, 2025. 67 people died. The report, the preliminary one, out in 14 days. There were 4 press conferences and 9 press releases. How many press releases have we had in the case of Air India? Let's just go back to the previous page. Well, just 1 press conference, 1 press release which has been out. Have there been any press conferences? No. Will there be a press conference tomorrow? At this stage, we still don't know. Where is the crisis in and credibility in terms of communicating during an air disaster?
Vishnu, thanks very much for that. So tomorrow afternoon is when that report is all set to very likely be out. We will be ready. You will hear all about it right here on NDTV. Vishnu, thanks for that. Today, I also want to talk about an image I cannot unsee, and believe me, I've tried. Squadron leader Lokendra Singh Sindhu, the pilot, one of the 2 pilots in the Jaguar that crashed a couple of days ago, his final farewell took place in Rohtak in Haryana today. His wife Surbhi, holding their 1-month-old child, stood over his tricolour draped coffin. His father shattered, uniformed men trying to hold each other up. A young warrior of the skies laid to rest today. But what haunts me more than anything else tonight is not just the grief, it's the absence. Not one political leader of note showed up for this funeral. Not Haryana's Chief Minister Nayab Singh Saini, not a single senior BJP minister like Anil Vij, Not even local Congress MP Deepinder Singh Hooda or local Congress MLA Bharat Bhushan Batra. No Neta found it important enough to be there with the family of Squadron Leader Lokendra from either of the two big parties of Haryana, a state that sends so many people to the military. I've covered governments and the military for over 2 decades, my friends. I understand political calendars are packed. Elected leaders are pulled in 100 directions. But tell me this tonight, why do I feel so enraged that not one of them chose to stand by Squadron Leader Lokendra's grieving family? Just look at them. Just 2 months ago, the very same Indian Air Force shook the nation awake with its audacious might during Operation Sindoor. They crippled the enemy and lit up every heart in India with so much pride. You and I still feel that. Squadron Leader Lokendra was very likely flying combat readiness sorties during that very operation. He was ready to fight and die for his country, and now he's gone. He's in a casket. He's been cremated. And there's a giant hole where the nation's presence should have been. A young warrior, just 31 years old, a new father, his newborn is 1 month old, a shattered family, a widow, and no one from the political class to hold their hand. This is not about optics. It's not about symbolism. It's about a simple question: should the funeral of a military hero not be acknowledged by those who claim to serve the nation, especially in a year when we went to war? This isn't about pulling at heartstrings. It's about responsibility. It's about decency. A nation that salutes its heroes in war must never abandon them in death. Funerals don't need politicians, but this one did. Well, Shiv Sena MLA Sanjay Gaikwad ran away from me when I asked him questions on my show yesterday. He refused to take me head on. I've invited him back to today's show to take my questions again, but something tells me he's not going to come, because guess what he did today after running away? He has targeted a South Indian community. After punching and slapping a canteen manager in Mumbai, Sanjay Gaikwad, the ruling party MLA from Mumbai, opened his guns at the Shetty community. He called them people outside Maharashtra who come to Maharashtra and spoil Marathi culture by opening restaurants and dance bars. He accused them of defaming Maharashtra's culture and linked them to inappropriate behavior. Remarks that reek of regionalism and prejudice, and frankly is dangerous in a place like Mumbai. Why is he being allowed to get away with it? He claimed Marathis would never have served stale food, insisting his actions were provoked by a 20-year-old stomach issue. And yet he paints an entire community, the proud Shetty community, as being responsible because of stale food served in one canteen. Even as Chief Minister Eknath Shinde and Deputy Chief Minister Fadnavis condemned his conduct, and now we hear very gratefully that the police has booked him and is trying to do the right thing, MLA Gaikwad remains unrepentant. He's a dabang, you see, against the weak, insisting he only hit the manager, as though that somehow made it acceptable. The incident not only exposes unchecked arrogance among public representatives, which is what we are campaigning against here on NDTV, but also the dangerous normalization of violence and communal and community slander in our political discourse that this shameless thug wants to get away with. Listen in to what he said if you don't believe me.
ये जो शेट्टी लोग हैं, ये महाराष्ट्र में आज से इनका ये धंधा नहीं है हमारे लोगों की जिंदगी से खेलने का। आज मेरी ज़िंदगी से खेलने का उन्होंने प्रयास किया। पहली बात तो है कि मेरा पेट के दर्द से मैं 20 साल से परेशान हूँ। अगर जरा सा भी कुछ कम ज़्यादा होता है तो मुझे बहुत दर्द होता है, इसलिए मेरी जान पहले से जल चुकी थी।
The Shiv Sena MLA Sanjay Gaikwad, who's been called out for his boorish behavior, remains remorseless. He's not apologized. Instead, he chose to blame a prominent community living in Mumbai. Who is this community? The Shetty community, and Sanjay Gaikwad has decided they are to blame. And of course, it's there in his comments. Now, let me just tell you who the Shetty community is. There are over 10 lakh members of the Shetty community that live in Mumbai. The Shetty community is also known as the Bant community, and they hail from the coastal parts of Karnataka. They originated from there and they gradually moved to Mumbai and set up businesses. And of course, Their businesses are mostly eateries that came up when Mangalorean banks and other businesses also opened in Mumbai. Today, they are a thriving community, and Mumbai has around 6,000 establishments that are known as Shetty establishments or lunch homes or, eateries that exist all over Mumbai. And the Shettys are known for running these lunch homes in Mumbai. Some of these lunch homes are institutions, but the Shettys run it. They've been running it for years. They've been running it for centuries. And many Shetty establishments have also transitioned themselves into high-end restaurants and, like I said, institutions when it comes to food that's served in Mumbai. Now, Mumbai is also home to the film industry. And there are prominent film industry names that include actors like Aishwarya Rai, Sunil Shetty, Shilpa Shetty, and filmmaker Rohit Shetty, who also belong to this community that's thrived, that's grown, and become an integral part of Mumbai. In fact, Shilpa Shetty, who we all know as an actor, also is the owner of some very popular restaurants in Mumbai, which is restaurants like the high-end Bastian and Inca, which today every Mumbaiker associates with. So that is the history of the Shetty community. They've grown, they've thrived, they've become an integral part of Mumbai, they add character to Mumbai. But MLAs like Sanjay Gaikwad, when they have no defense for their boorish behavior, choose to pin blame or shift responsibility on a community that's been adding to Mumbai's character for years and serving Mumbai some good food for many years.
So the Shettys in general and the Shettys of Mumbai most definitely don't need a certificate from someone like Sanjay Gaikwad. They're a proud community that has flourished in different parts of the country and especially in Mumbai for years and years and decades and are very much part of the character that we know of Mumbai. And Niranjan Shetty is a prominent hotelier and social activist from Mumbai, and he's agreed to speak to me today on this sensitive issue. Mr. Shetty, welcome. Thank you for your time here on NDTV at a time when someone like a ruling party MLA, I know it's a sensitive matter for you. You live there, so I thank you for speaking to me. But taking pot shots at the Shetty community, saying that, you have brought disrepute to Maharashtra, dance bars, restaurants, hotels, etc. How do you react to this?
First of all, I would like to thank NDTV, especially my friend Mr. Saurabh Gupta, and thank you also, Mr. Shiv, for highlighting the Shetty community in a proper manner. Exactly, that is what exactly we have been doing for yesteryears. Through your channel, I would like to inform this honorable MLA, who has spoken about our community. He needs to know that we are years, since centuries, not few years down the line. We were present there during Mahabharata. We were present during the Chhatrapati Shivaji's ceremony when he was declared as a Chhatrapati Maharaj. So apart from that, we have been giving lots of things, as you rightly said, being not only running an Udupi restaurants, but n numbers of business. Either it is a bank or any people. If you must have seen the lawyers and the topmost industries are from our community, and we have been doing service to the community since yesteryears. I would like to bring to the kind notice of Mr. Gaikwad that during the years when the mill workers, the mills were closed, it was the Shetty community who stood with those community, especially of Maharashtrians, who were unable to have their daily food during and without any penny in their pocket. I recollect when my father as a child, I used to go, and one gentleman, he passed, he changed the track when he saw my father. So I was very, probably a small kid, but I have those memories. So he asked, I remember his name also. So my father called him, Dilip, what happened? Why are you not coming in front of me? Well, sir, I do not have money and I want to repay that payment. My father only said, see here, listen, I have never asked you the money. Whenever the mill opens, you can come and give. You can come and eat in my restaurant and I will never ask you. These were all penny things, but then this is how we lived in the Maharashtra and this is how we, cultured. We have that kind of things. We have not come here just to earn money. So basically it's the the what would we say, the cultural bonding that we had. It's
So
the
this is
coastal food,
Mr.
also
Shetty.
the
Then
Maharashtra-
this is just petty politics being played. I mean, is there something deeper going on here? The reason I'm asking is because this is a dangerous thing to say. You know, ultimately, if someone with the responsibility of an MLA makes such a public comment like this, people from the outside will say, "Hey, what's going on?"
Absolutely, I agree. Mr. Gaikwad is unaware of of our community's dedications and the kind of things that we have put in Maharashtra. As I said, we do not come here today or tomorrow. It's, as I said, it is from the days of epics like Mahabharata, or for the matter Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. So he needs to have go back and study and understand the history and our community that has been doing. See, basically, as we said, one thing I think you missed out, my friend Saurabh. We are a community known as, we belong to a bunch which is known as warrior, equivalent to Marathas. So if you recollect, there were n numbers of things that they made us to, if you recollect that it was Baja Utao Pungi and Baja Utao Lungi Baja Pungi. We never got scared of such kind of attributes that they had. We are here and we will continue to be here and serve the people of the Maharashtra.
If you had a chance to meet MLA Sanjay Gaikwad, Mr. Shetty, what would you say to him? Because ultimately, these are public representatives.
Fortunately, I was, 2 days back, I had been inside the Vidhan Bhavan just for something. I understand whatever happened with him as far as the food was concerned. I understand as a consumer, he had some grievance, and there are ways, you could have first called the FDA which happened later on.
Correct.
So there are norms which he has to do, and he being a legislator, he needs to understand he should be more careful and cautious. And apart from that, after that, he's speaking about the community, which was very unfair.
Yeah.
And I think it is not gone good with the Shetty communities. I think even his colleagues may have not taken it very kindly, because there are n numbers of Marathi people, from his community also, who are partners with us.
Correct.
We are doing business. Our Restaurant Hotel Association first president was from the Marathi community.
Correct.
So I think he does not know our history. He needs to revisit the history and understand. If I get a chance, of course, I will give our Bunch community's history detail, a book of it, so that he can read what the Shetty community has done.
I am just glad that I was able to throw some light on this, because everyone knows the surname Shetty, sir. Everyone in the country knows the surname Shetty, but I'm glad I was able to put some light on this, because even in an unsavory comment it has come up. But this was important for us to do, and I hope that the police will take action. We understand that a complaint has been filed and action might be taken against.
I thank NDTV. I thank NDTV.
Thank you.
I will never forget the way you have projected the Shetty community, and these are the facts. I thank you and Saurabh, both of you.
Thank you, Niranjan Shetty, for being with us here on India Matters. Well, it's a wrap on the show. Thanks so much for watching. And coming up next, while we're on the topic of Maharashtra, and we have been over the last 10 days, is a documentary you cannot miss, because it involves all the big players in this grand chessboard that is Maharashtra. The Thackerays comes up next.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's leading AI smartphone brand.
Finesta Windows, beautiful and durable designs. इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
Find Finer Finesta.
Some say sport is a matter of life and death. The truth is, it is far more serious than that. Sport is about ecstasy and agony, about pain and suffering, about joy and much more. Some say there's no one better to tell these stories. So here I am. Join me, Boria Majumdar, on India's #1 news network.
फिनेस्टा विंडोज, ब्यूटीफुल एंड ड्यूरेबल डिजाइन्स, इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
फाइनल फिनेस्टा।
जनता के पास सवाल ही सवाल है, जवाब ढूंढने को वो देखती है न्यूज और देखती है यहाँ तो सवालों का माया जाल है। ऊपर से ये अलग फाइट है, कोई पूरा लेफ्ट तो कोई पूरा राइट है। बीच में मुद्दे के साथ कौन है, जनता को जवाब चाहिए। इसीलिए सवालों की परेड नहीं, मैं लाऊंगा खबरों की कचहरी। मैं शुभांकर मिश्रा, मेरे साथ देखिए कचहरी रात 8 बजे सिर्फ NDTV इंडिया पर।
फिनेस्टा विंडोज, ब्यूटीफुल एंड ड्यूरेबल डिजाइन्स, इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
फाइनल फिनेस्टा।
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights, real-time stock picks.
Do I buy Ola?
Should I
or
hold
buy
CDSL for the long term? Buy, sell or hold.
The answers you need, straight from the experts.
Callers from India and across the world. Connect live, ask, decide and invest wisely.
Your portfolio, your future. Ask Profit.
गोल्ड प्लस ऑप्टिमिस्टिक रिफ्लेक्टिव ग्लास लगाओ, धूप की गर्मी को दूर भगाओ और बिजली का बिल भी बचाओ।
जनता के पास सवाल ही सवाल है, जवाब
Politics in Maharashtra would not be the same if it were not for the Thackerays. From being social reformers to calling the shots in the state to influencing the national narrative at the center. 4 generations of Thackeray men not only championed the cause, but with a brand of disruptive narrative, they made the name Thackeray synonymous to politics in Maharashtra. It may well be the MNS that is at the center of the latest disruptions. But like at the core of any Thackeray politics, there is always a question of identity. This MNS muscle flexing too is part of the never-ending fallout of Raj Thackeray's humiliation from 2 decades ago. Thackerays' story literally begins with Keshav Sitaram, the family patriarch who adopted the size spelling for the Marathi Thackeray. He was a journalist and social reformer who took the pen name Prabodkar. He spoke and wrote extensively to combat ills like untouchability and dowry. Keshav Thackeray played an important role in the Samyukta Maharashtra movement that campaigned for creating the state along linguistic lines.
नाही ते दिल्लीमध्ये बसलेले हिजडे तर JKL जो म्हणून ती आहे फ्रंट तिकडूनची काश्मीरमध्ये राष्ट्रवादी मुसलमान म्हणजे तरी काय म्हटलं म्हणजे तरी काय
ज्या वेळेला देशावरती ज्या वेळेला गंडांतर आलेली आहेत आक्रमण झालेली आहेत त्यावेळेला आपला महाराष्ट्र उभा राहिलेला आहे शिवराय नसते तर सगळ्यांची सुमता झाली असते.
It was Keshav's son, Bal Thackeray, who stamped the family name firmly into the political consciousness of Maharashtra. A young Balasaheb had begun his career in the 1950s as a cartoonist in newspapers in what was then Bombay. Later, his cartoons also appeared in the Japanese daily Asahi Shimbun and in the Sunday edition of the New York Times. By the early 1960s, the cartoonist commentator became increasingly involved in politics. By the middle years of what the Western world calls the swinging 60s, Bal Thackeray was launching a political party of his own to sway the mind of the Marathi Manus. Bal Thackeray's core ideology behind the formation of the Shiv Sena revolved around the creation of an existential conflict. Its ideology of Maharashtra for Marathis only, to be forcibly legitimized by the violence and militancy that was to follow. Bal Thackeray's pro-Marathi rhetoric struck a chord with the working-class residents of Mumbai. But to become a dominant force in the entire state, he needed to add another layer of disruption.
खरं सांगायचं म्हणजे जरा विचार करा आपला नक्की शत्रू कोण.
Hindutva provided the perfect solution to Bal Thackeray's ambitions as he began a partnership with the BJP, a partnership that would stand firm for the next 35 years. In 1987, during the Maharashtra Assembly by-elections, Bal Thackeray declared Hindutva as an official ideology of Shiv Sena and gave a slogan of "Garv se kaho, hum Hindu hain." For the first time in the electoral history of Maharashtra, an appeal was made to the voter based on religion, and it reaped the results that Bal Thackeray was looking for.
हिंदू धर्म रक्षक सरसेनापती महानेता माननीय शिवसेना प्रमुख श्रीमान बाळासाहेब ठाकरे यांचा.
While the Shiv Sena tasted success in regional and national politics, Bal Thackeray himself never held an official post or ran for elected office. Yet his heft was such that for decades he was regarded as the most powerful man in Mumbai and the state. Politicians, business leaders, film stars, and film producers sought his blessings before launching any project. No wonder then that Bal Thackeray was often referred to as the godfather of Maharashtra. But to the millions of his die-hard followers, he was the Hindu Hriday Samrat. As Shiv Sena under Bal Thackeray gained prominence, within the Thackeray family there was a male heir grooming to one day take on the mantle of leadership. Raj S. Thackeray. Like Uncle Bal Thackeray, loved to draw cartoons. Raj's father, Bal Thackeray's brother Shrikant, was a musician who had also made a few Marathi films. But Raj was very clear about his calling, and his political career in the Shiv Sena began under the tutelage of his uncle, whose mannerisms and oratory styles he adopted. Many believed that it would be Raj Thackeray who would succeed his uncle, but that was not what was meant to be. Bal Thackeray's low-profile son inherited the second-in-command's mantle in the party. Uddhav Thackeray, with his interest in wildlife photography, was initially a reluctant politician, something that changed when he moved in with his father and was given the responsibility of managing the party mouthpiece, Samna. Playing a definitive role behind the scenes was Uddhav's wife, Rashmi. Insiders credit Rashmi Thackeray as the prime driving force behind not only Uddhav joining politics, but even rising to the top political post in the state, the first and only Thackeray till date to have become the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Raj Thackeray had done more years than his cousin in politics. But when the reluctant Uddhav made his debut in the early 90s, Raj progressively fell from grace. By the mid-90s, the feud between the cousins became an open secret, and Bal Thackeray had to broker peace on more than one occasion. By 1997, Uddhav had taken firm control of the party, and he had started denying election tickets to Raj's nominees. An angry Raj gave statements about malicious politics that had penetrated the party. When Uddhav was asked to comment, he used Samna to send out the message that when it comes to the party, Raj must learn to heed him. Raj Thackeray quit the Shiv Sena in 2005, alleging that Uddhav had ruined the party. The next year, Raj Thackeray set up the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena, MNS, modelled as a more militant version of the Shiv Sena. Raj Thackeray managed to attract rebel leaders from not just the Shiv Sena, but also the Nationalist Congress Party and the Congress. In 2007, the MNS under Raj tasted some electoral successes in different municipal elections. But he had to do more to make the people choose MNS over Shiv Sena. So Raj hijacked Shiv Sena's anti-North Indian flank. His fiery speeches, reminiscent of Bal Thackeray, targeted the non-Marathi population, mainly people from the north. Violence by his supporters led to Raj being arrested on more than one occasion. The Shiv Sena succession struggle not only decided the trajectory of the Thackeray cousins, but it also brought to the forefront the next generation of the family. Raj's son Amit, and Udhav's son Aditya. Aditya Thackeray had always had a keen interest in joining politics. At the age of 20, he was appointed president of the Yuva Sena, the youth wing of the Shiv Sena. His energetic approach to politics, very unlike his father, quickly earned him recognition within the party. Aditya focused on issues in which he had interest, issues such as urban development, education, and environment.